Hello guys, welcome back once again, and this time we're going to go a little different route. Sometimes I delve into tech, not just video game news, and in this case we're going to talk about the company that owns YouTube, and that is Google. Google made a major announcement today, basically breaking Google up between Google for their internet service division and what they now call Alphabet for all the independent stuff. Now, one of the biggest thing about this is that basically going forward, Google will be a tech conglomerate known as Alphabet. Again, and it's weird that, okay, why did they split the company up? They did this to avoid antitrust laws. This is a big thing. But this move was announced on Google's official blog by CEO Larry Page Day, who explained, and co-founder Sergey Brin created the umbrella corporation to allow more management flexibility. The move essentially breaks the current form of Google up into several smaller companies and unites them all under Alphabet. This means the divisions of the corporation, like Calico, its Life Extension Research Group, will operate autonomously and led by independent CEOs. So it means each little independent company Google's acquired will basically be run by independent CEOs, which does give flexibility to them, because if you, let's say you absorb a company, you buy a company, you want the guy who made that company successful to still lead it. So you acquire that company, that allows the guy who run the company to still run it if you want him to, and they feel like they're independent, but they're still part of Google. I mean, that's what it is. They're independent, but they're still part of Google. Kind of like Pixar is with Disney, right? Pixar is owned by Disney, but they're independent. And of course, one of the reasons why Disney's independent is Steve Jobs. When Pixar was acquired by Disney, he became Disney's biggest shareholder, and the Jobs family, is still the biggest shareholder in Disney. So Pixar is owned by Disney, but they are basically independent. It means they're gonna let them do what they want, but they're still chain of command to Disney. Now, the other hand, this has been reduced in scope to include only internet services, the Google itself, its search engine, its Chrome browser, and its Android mobile operating system. Again, those are probably three of the bigger things in Google, but still, those are separate from everything else. Now, Apple's CEO will be Page, its president will be Brin. The main responsibilities will be to allocate capital to each company in Alphabet, as well as hire and advise the CEOs of different branches. In addition, Page announced that Sundar Pichai, who was previously the product chief at Google, will be the CEO at Google branch. In a statement, Page stated strongly that the point of Alphabet is to facilitate production of device range of different products, and it's not meant to unify the divisions under one brand and one corporate vision. And he explained, I should add that we are not intending for this to be a big consumer brand with related product. The whole point of this is that Alphabet companies should be independent and develop their own brands. Again, Google's working on a lot of different products outside of its, obviously its most popular, which is like Android, and of course, obviously its search engine. And it's currently developing a self-driving car, a system of weather balloons, an unmanned aircraft to provide the internet to the globe, a mobile modular phone, artificial neural network, and many other stuff. But main reason this is done is for one reason. You saw this happen to IBM in the 60s. We saw this happen to Microsoft in the 90s. You get too big, they start to call you a monopoly, the antitrust starts to come after you. Why separating the company up into a lot of smaller companies allows you to avoid antitrust, and that's what Google's trying to do. They can face this any way they want to. It is a lot mainly about antitrust, because Google is running into a lot of antitrust now, just like Microsoft did in the 90s and 2000s. When you become a point you're too big and you get too you acquire too much and become too ambitious, eventually they come knocking at the door saying, hey, wait a minute. Yes, you were this cool upstart. Now you're the aggressive, don't listen to the laws, big, conglomerate. We have to knock you down a notch. This is to avoid all that. We saw, obviously, in the UK it was a big one with Microsoft, and the UK, Google in the UK haven't exactly seen eye to eye, obviously, with regulations. So that's one reason. Now, part of what they say is true. This does leave independent companies to stay independent, to do their own thing. Here's the problem with everybody being independent. You have a lot of people doing the same things and building their own thing instead of everybody being on the... What I mean by that is you have different people building their own engines. Like, let's take Sega, for example, right? Everybody knows the downfall of Sega. Everybody was building their own game engine. Everybody's, instead of coming together and having one unified game engine that could have helped Sega moving forward, everybody was doing their own thing, and it brought the company down. For Google, one of the big things they have to do is, if these two divisions are working on similar things, they should develop a unified platform so they don't have to be wasting money for the exact same thing. That's one of the dangers of being several independent companies. But this is, again, allowing Google to work on a lot of things and confusing people because the name is not Google. They're keeping the company's names and they're all under alphabets. Oh, well, Calico's doing this. No, that's actually Google, but because it doesn't say Google, you don't think it's Google. And again, there are a lot of big conglomerate companies, especially in the food world, that have several brand names that are independent, and they avoid antitrust, and they avoid consumer confusion thinking they're too big, and that's what this is all about. Anyway, what do you guys think about the fact that Google has split this all up, independent little companies? Again, if they acquire a company that's successful and is independent, there's no need to change, obviously, the hierarchy there, but again, this is mainly due to antitrust laws, because they're getting too big, and when you start getting too big, they start looking at you. Anyway, love to hear your guys' opinions like always, and I'll make another video soon. Later.